so nervous for this test today. Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Holy rip, I got a text message. I don't care about you. Ah! Education today starts now.
Hi, welcome to Education Today. I'm Randy Schamberger.
And I'm Wes Howard.
And we're from Katanning High School of the Armstrong School District. Tonight we're going to continue our new segment at Education Today. We mentioned last week about how budgets are becoming tighter and tighter, and faculty and staff need to continue to be creative in ways to stretch out every dollar. Every year a handful of teachers use their creative and innovative ideas to write grants so that they can productively receive money to buy items for their classes. Twice a year, the AHS-TV Foundation accepts these grants and applications from faculty or staff who works in the Armstrong School District. Grants are submitted in May for the fall semester and in December for the winter semester. Tonight is a week in our coverage of grants that were awarded during the 2011-2012 school year. Tonight we are going to have a guest with us to talk about his grants. Welcome to Education Today.
Would you please introduce yourself and your current role with the district?
My name is Dave Powers. I'm the driver education instructor at West Shamokin High School.
So what's the name of your grant and when was it awarded to you?
The grant we received was for the spring of 2012, and it was a driving awareness simulator.
What kind of grant did you apply for, and what students were impacted by it?
We applied for the $2,000 school-wide grant, and it was used for approximately 200 students, grades 10 through 12. And we brought in with that money, it was called a group called Peer Awareness out of Michigan, and they brought in the driving simulator for us.
So could you tell us a little bit more about the grant that you wrote?
We wrote the grant with the intent of providing students with an opportunity to experience texting and driving without having to be in a real harmful situation of actually being on the highway.
How did you come up with this idea?
The idea of the simulator, I received an email from this group at school explaining their programs and who has used their program in the past. They've been featured on the Today Show, numerous college campuses, and also it was recommended to me by other administrators in our building.
So does this grant cover only your classes or multiple grades and teachers try to taking advantage of it as well?
We use the grant to cover grades 10 through 12, any students that would be either just starting to drive or who would currently have their driver's license.
How did the students react to this grant?
They all came away with a very positive attitude. The comments of the students that were getting out of the simulator were all very positive. I think it was an opening eye type experience for them.
So you'd say it was a good?
I would say it was a great success, yes.
So have you noticed a difference in the students' learning as far as picking up on concepts more quickly or things related to that?
Yeah, I hear more students talk about the dangers of texting and driving. And of course, there's new laws in Pennsylvania now that forbid texting and driving for any age. So I think it did have some impact, yes.
What was the grant writing process like? Have you done it before?
This was actually the first grant I'd ever applied for, but it was fairly simple. Basically had to write a description of what the money was going to be used for. The application would then go before the AHS-TV Foundation, and they have a board that judges your grant request, and then we did receive our grant.
So what do you think is the biggest benefit of this grant being awarded and instituted to your classes?
For our purposes, I think the biggest benefit was getting so many people exposed to the dangers of texting and driving in one place. Not only students, but faculty and staff also took part in the activity, and I think we exposed probably 250, 260 people to those dangers.
All right.
Okay, thanks very much. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. Stick around.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major, and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about grants awarded through the ASD Foundation. Tonight's grant is Distracted Driver Simulator, which was written by Mr. Dave Powers. Could you give us a little more detail into what exactly the simulator does or did?
Okay, the Peer Awareness Simulator is a rather unique type of simulator. They use an actual automobile. I think in our case they use the Honda Civic. They bring it in, they set it up on platforms that are connected to computers that can give feedback as the student is driving. Then the student is given a pair of virtual reality goggles, and they are seeing a driving simulation, various environments, city, rural, and various obstacles that they might have to deal with. And at the same time, they were asked to send a text to someone, to a friend, and try and navigate the course that is before them.
Okay, so this ended up being a bigger event at West Shamokin. What other events are the students doing that day?
We did have a full day activity. It ran from 9 in the morning till the end of school. We kind of nicknamed it our Safe Driving Awareness Day. So in addition to the simulator, we had the IUP Regional Highway Safety Team over. PennDOT was there doing some different types of safety checks. Rosebud Trucking provided us with a coal truck to allow the students to get into the cab and to experience blind spots. Impaired driving goggles were used with the Wii game systems. There were remote control cars. The U.S. Army National Guard was there. They have some pedal go-karts, and they set up an obstacle course where goggles were used, and the students had to negotiate through the course wearing the impairment vision goggles. There was local insurance agencies. The Shamrock Valley Car Club was involved. Citizens Ambulance and their paramedics were also involved.
So you've mentioned companies such as PennDOT. What other companies or organizations were involved in making this day happen?
Well, I think without some support of the local community, it would have been difficult to pull this off, but we did have some great support from some of our area businesses. Fox's Pizza of Roll Valley provided lunch for all the exhibitors. Holiday Inn Express in Katanning provided a room for the people from Peer Awareness. AAA, State Farm Insurance, Allstate Insurance, Nationwide Insurance. West Shamokin SAD Club was involved. Paramedic Fred Catchpole, who was from our area, did a PowerPoint presentation on different accident and crash scenes he'd been to. The Army National Guard I mentioned, the District Foundation, Rosebud Trucking, Lisa Baker, who is an employee of State Representative Donna Olander, was there. WTYM Radio was there, and West Shamokin Student Council.
Okay, so jumping back to the simulator now, what do you see as the key benefits for the students having experience with it?
Well, car crashes are the #1 killer of teens in America, and the simulator gives you the ability to experience texting and driving, and also impaired driving can be simulated as well. And what's so great about it is it puts the driver in those experiences without actually putting them in harm's way.
What are your future plans moving forward? Is a simulator in the works for this or any other upcoming years?
Yes, it is. We're currently in the planning stages of our second Safe Driving Awareness Day. We have applied for another grant and have received it from the foundation. It's a $1,000 grant this time around. The main feature of this year's presentation is going to come from the Pennsylvania DUI Association, and they have a vehicle that's called the Safety Bug, which is a Volkswagen that students will actually drive through a course set up by the DUI Association, and it impairs their ability to drive.
So is there any way to expose students across the district to the simulator?
I was actually in discussions this morning with a member of the foundation, and we've talked about this in the past, that we would like to see it be a district-wide program because there are a lot of potential benefits with it. As of now, there's no definitive plans to do it, but we're hoping in the very near future that we could pull something like that off.
What were or are your goals with this grant?
Being the driver's education instructor, one of my goals there is to teach students about the dangers of driving, Obviously, it's a great time in their lives, gives them freedom, but there is also a lot of dangers out there. So the main focus was texting and driving and impaired driving for that day.
So how difficult do you think this project would have been if you wouldn't have gotten a grant at all?
Without the grant money, there is no way we could have had the simulator. The total cost on that simulator was $2,500. Our SAD club gave us the extra $500 to bring it in. Otherwise, it would have been too big of an expense for student council and SAD to bring in. Probably could have done the other activities, but this simulator was the main focus of the day.
Is there anything else that we may not have covered that is related to this grant or the process that you'd like to share?
Basically, I would encourage all teachers in the Armstrong School District to, when these grant opportunities are presented to them, when it was first presented to me, I thought, oh, it's going to be too much paperwork, I don't want to do it. But it turns out it's rather easy, and students do benefit, and that's what the bottom line is.
Is there anything you'd like to add to benefit the viewers out there?
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to talk about my grant and safe driving.
Okay, well, that's our show for today. And I'd like to thank our guest, Mr. Dave Powers, a teacher here in the Armstrong School District and writer of the grant that brought the Distracted Driver Simulator to the West Shamokin High School. Our thanks go out to TV production students at Katanning High School, led by Mr. Josh Miklos, and our crew for today. Please join us for next week and look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Courtney Edwards
And I'm Blake Davis.
of Katanning High School in the Armstrong School District. Cell phones have become a huge part of everyday life, especially for students. With the increased usage of cell phones comes an increase in the number of potential consequences. Tonight, we are going to discuss the students' perspective on cell phone usage and their use while in school. With us tonight, we have two of our AHS-TV production students. Welcome to Education Today. Would you please introduce yourselves and tell us what year you are in?
I'm Lucian Holian, and I'm a junior at Katanning Senior High School.
I'm Kiara Ebig, and I'm a senior at Katanning High School.
Thanks. I just have some questions for you. How long have you had a cell phone?
I got my first cell phone back in 8th grade.
I got my first cell phone back in 7th grade.
Do you currently own a smartphone?
Nope,
Yes, I do.
I do not.
All right. Do you use your phone in school?
I try not to, but if my mom texts me and I have to pick something up, I will. Take it out, send her a quick message back.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I do use it from time to time. Not when the teacher is trying to explain something to me, but when, there's nothing really to do and I'm not paying attention really, yeah, I will use my smartphone.
All right. I think we all can say that we've done that.
Yeah.
Do you use your phone to help you in class sometimes? If you do, give me a few examples.
I've used my phone to help me in class sometimes. If, I get a question from my dad about something we're doing in Power Tech, but that's probably the only time. That was a one-time thing.
Yeah, I don't really use my phone in class for school purposes.
You never use it for like a calculator or anything?
No, I do.
I use it for a calculator, but that's about it. I never really looked up anything for a test.
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them just because of the prices?
I think that if we are allowed to have cell phones in school, I don't think it would be quite fair because I'd be giving a higher advantage to kids that have smartphones compared to kids that don't. Kids without the cell phones would have to do more work and have to use more school resources than the kids with the smartphones. So I think it would be unfair.
It's true.
Would you please repeat the question?
Do you think that it's fair that only some people can use them in school just because of the price if we were allowed to use them in school?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't have much to talk about on that topic.
All right. Do you think that the use of smartphones could help you improve your grades if you were able to find different resources and like apps on your phone?
If I had a smartphone and I was able to look up questions and I was allowed to use it, I would. But I don't think it'd be fair to the other kids, but I'd still do it just to help myself.
I agree. I would do that too. But I do have a smartphone, but at the same time I don't do that, so.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today.
Before I came to IUP, I had no idea what college would be like or what role I would play or where I'd be in the future. But when I came to IUP, everything changed. I met people who really made me feel like I belonged. I had great classes at a great nationally ranked university. Hi, my name's Megan Miller. I'm a fine arts major and this is my university.
We're back with Armstrong School District's Education Today. We're talking about cell phone usage in schools from the student's perspective. What are some reasons why students should not be allowed to have smartphones in school?
It would be a distraction. When the teacher's teaching, they'd take them out, be looking, playing games, surfing the web, instead of paying attention to what the teacher's saying.
I agree, and I feel that it's rude. The teacher's there to teach you and you're there to listen, and if you're playing with your smartphone, then how are you supposed to listen and give your full attention?
Do you think that the use of cell phones in school would help or hinder students?
They could help students. In school, they'll be able to look at questions, look them up if they're doing a book report and they don't have access to the computer at the time. They could look up information to help them.
I agree with that, but at the same time, what about the people who don't have smartphones and they don't have a computer at the time? Then what are they supposed to do?
Do you feel that more students abuse smartphones rather than help with their learning?
I can see it both ways. I have seen students using their cell phones a lot to help them in school, but at the same time, I can see students messing around on them.
I think that students mess around on their phones more than using them to help them in school. Like, would you rather go on Twitter or would you rather use a calculator?
If cell phones were no longer banned, do you think that students will still abuse their phones?
I believe that if cell phones were no longer banned, I believe there'd be more abuse of cell phones. There'd be no risk of losing your cell phone and getting it taken away. So there'd be more opportunities for you to abuse.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're not allowed to, but at the same time, if you're not allowed to do something, then you're going to do it. But if you are allowed to do something, then it's not going to be something to not do, so you won't do it.
In order to keep up with today's society, do you think more school districts should allow the use of smartphones for educational purposes?
I think that in some classes, the use of cell phones would help, like physics or chemistry or some of the higher classes. They're faster than the computers we have in school.
I agree with that. And there also is a lot of sites on the computers at school that you can't go on that have more information. And on your smartphone, you can go on any site you want.
Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to thank our guest, Kiara and Lucian, for taking the time to talk us about the usage of cell phones in school. Our thanks go out to the TV production students of Katanning High School, led by their teacher, Mr. Don Swanson. They were our film crew today. Please join us again next week for another look at the Armstrong School District. Visit our website for updated information about the district, and have a great week.